Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl Brandy Yvonne. Here on my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. This particular video, we are talking about OWN's Friday night show, Ready to Love, season 10. I want to say episode 8. I think it was called My Man's Friend, something like that. This episode didn't really give a lot to me. Like, all the conversations weren't really going anywhere for me. I don't know. Next week looked like it's going to be good because y'all know the getaway is always good. That's where it goes down. That's when we start locking in connections. Before we get into all that, please hit that thumbs up button for me, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the new subscribers. Thank y'all for the support. Share the video where you like to share your content. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think of this season. I know everybody's still mad at for taking that long break. And I had the dates wrong. I think I told y'all last week. The last episode was in May, but I think it actually was in March. So yeah. Anyway, let's get to this review. We're just gonna talk about each of the dates, and then I'm not gonna go line by line. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. Anyway, so Nephew Tommy meets with the ladies and says, okay, I know y'all had to, introduce them to the exes, and then I know y'all still recovering from that. So this week we're gonna introduce y'all, or the men have to introduce the women to their friends, okay? Which is acceptable. The exes is a hot mess. Anyway, what bothered me about this scene is Sahara. Girl, why do we insist on wearing these little girl hair accessories, the balls and the barrettes? What's with the balls and the barrettes? Like, girl, bye. Like, I understand if that's what you like. Okay, I'm not knocking nobody. That's what you like, but I don't like when grown women wear little girl hair accessories. I'm not into that. Not into that. It just diminishes her look for me. Like when she couple of her confessional scenes and when she was on a date with Cam, she looked a lot lighter and fresher and more soft. She was softer. So yeah, you gotta like lose the balls and the barrettes of it all, please. So anyway, we see the ladies go on a date with the men. Let's see whose date are we going to do first. Oh, Jay and Kiera. So Jay, I don't remember his friend's name. I don't remember most of them friends' names, to be honest. Don't matter. No, I'm just kidding. I just don't remember y'all. Also, side note, I live in California, where THC is legal. We be having like drinks and everything. So I I didn't a little partake, or I didn't already partook a little bit. So I also gotta hurry up and get this review done. So anyway, because it's kicking in. It is kicking in. So anyway, so Kiara made us for he said that's Bay right there. She ready for marriage in 3 years. He got to see what's up. I don't know, cause Kiara don't care. Isn't Kiara's like baby daddy locked up and he get down in 6 months? So I don't see it for. Do y'all see any couples on the show? First of all, do y'all see any legitimate couples? I don't see it right now. Maybe Rose and Hussein, but he don't communicate, so I don't know. Anyway, Kira, I don't even. Who was Kira and Jay? Didn't even talk. I'm telling y'all, they wasn't talking about nothing. They was giving him credit for being in a relationship for 11 years, but Kira was like saying everything we said. Like they could have break up the makeup in that 11 years, 150 million, 11 times. So his friends said they tried, even his friends would try to, I guess, talk Jay out of the relationship, but he stuck with it. I'm assuming that was the mother of his kids, if it was 11 years. And so he had his Playboy phase. Kiara said she's trying to make sure he's out of that now. But I guess the point of this was to show that he's so committed. And he said he locked in, and then she was like, "Oh, we locked in now." And then he was like, "We not locked in." Hold on, y'all. I gotta grab my phone. I don't want to miss. Hold on. Y'all know I always got an order on the way, child. Hold on, let me message people back. What they say? Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm just gonna do what I had to do on here. Sorry. Anywho, so okay. he's like, "Oh, we not locked in," and she's like, "No, it's just a little jokey joke." And she said that's her number one. That's been her day one from beginning. It's just her and Jay locked in, so she don't have any other connections, I guess. So moving on, we get to Francie's school, and Tay and his friend, his two frat brothers. I'm not sure what frat he was in. If y'all know what frat he was in, put it in the comments. I was trying to guess, but I honestly don't have a clue. Looking at them three, I don't have a clue. I have a couple ideas, but no clue. So if y'all know what frat he in, or y'all think y'all know what frat he in, put it in the comments. I'm not thinking Kappa or Sigma at all, but I could be wrong. Anyway, but it wasn't giving that. It wasn't giving that. And I would know because I dated like the vice president of the campus. Okay. Child, don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, so Tay was saying, she liked everything about him, but then the stability thing did become an issue. Is she stable? And of course, she wants someone stable. And they were like, okay, like, he's the type. And she's like, he might need to be with somebody else to, get to where he needs to get to. And they were like, yeah, he's going to put his all in. He's a hard worker. He's this and that. Um, and so she was like, she does want someone with that stability. That is a concern with her. She does have other connections. And so they were like, "Oh, you want somebody with a car?" I was like, "Yes, she do. Deserves it. What else is new?" And so they were like, "Yeah, he's a big, strong guy, but he hurts too, and he was hurt about you being taken aback about his situation." Blah blah blah. I said, "I don't care. What other reaction was Tay supposed to give about Cisco not having his life together? About Cisco not having a place to? Didn't he not? He don't have a car. He don't have a place to live." Why is he even on the show? I don't even know why he hasn't even been eliminated. How he made it to the getaway? I have no clue. I have no clue. He can't even. No, absolutely not. Like I was like, what reaction is this lady supposed to have? Like, what is y'all expecting from the lady? Oh, sorry, y'all. If y'all see it zoom in, that's my bad. I'm messing with stuff and I really shouldn't be. Anyway, sorry. If it zoomed in, I apologize. I messing with stuff I shouldn't be messing with. I was trying to zoom it out more. Anyway, um, but yeah, Tay was like, she's sorry. She didn't mean to hurt him. I mean, I don't really feel like she owed him. I mean, she should apologize if somebody feels hurt. Yes, but like, what else is she supposed to do? Like, what else do we expect? Like, that's going to be everyone's natural reaction. So anyway, I was like, please, y'all they just vouching for him. Okay, I mean that's what they're supposed to do as friends. At the end of the day, Tay said that's still her number one. She's still intrigued by him, but she gonna see what's up. Um, Cam is on a date with his three. I don't know how Cam ended up with three connections, as I did not see it from him from day one. But anyway, he has Angie, Sahara, and Rose coming on a date. I love Rose's naturally curly hair. So his friend, I don't remember how to pronounce her name, the young lady's name, but she seemed like a nice girl. Cam's friend, his friend from high school. They always talk to each other about their love lives. Now I was curious to know, like, why did they ever hook up? What they had going on, or were they just friends? Y'all let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. Do y'all think Cam had anything going on with that friend he brought on the show? So, she said one of his issues is that he be, giving people time and energy that he really don't like. So he's a time waster. To me, that's a red flag. And so, he wants to lead. That's an issue for Angie. She don't like that lead word. Rose was like, "You don't want a man lead you." She was like, "No, I'm just not comfortable, with all that." Now, didn't Angie say that her ex-husband or fiance or somebody she was with, her first husband, um, he didn't let her leave the house. Like she was rich, she didn't have to want for anything, but she couldn't do whatever she wanted to do or something like that. So she blamed the whole thing on her childhood later on in the women's vault, and we'll get to that. But I was wondering, does it also stem from that relationship? Because didn't she say that? Y'all could confirm with me in the comments. I thought she said she was in like a controlling relationship for a long time. So I thought that's why she don't want to let people lead now. So Oh yeah, when Angie ran up there on the day, she jumped all on Cam. I was like, okay, girl. So Rose is like, Rose asked a good question of why love hasn't really stuck for Cam, and so what did she say? Something about him. I forgot the word she used. I totally forgot the word she used, but she did give an explanation of why she thinks things haven't worked out for Cam. Um, I can't remember like how she explained it, but it'll come to me later. Moving on. um, Rose, everyone, all the women were happy to meet. Cam's friend and all that. And so Sahara was like, like he got a lot of, he got a lot of choices. And she was like, you better choose wisely. The friend feels like he gels well with all of them. And so um I don't know if she said that Cam sticks around in situations too long, like gives people too many chances. It was something like that. It was similar to what the friend said about Hussein, like similar thing. I think that's what it was. Like I said, this episode wasn't giving enough for me to care. I'm sorry. I love me some Ready Love. Don't get me wrong, but this episode just didn't do it for me. Also, I'm tired. So anyway, but I want to give y'all good energy and a good review. So moving on, let's see. We had Tay and what is that lady's name? Deanna go on a date with now Deanna is stacked, girl. You are stacked. Go on a date with Khalil and his friend came. They've known each other for years. Khalil seems to be a stand-up guy. He's the only one so far, the guy that I think is like number one on the show, I would say. As far as if I was like picking guys on the show, I do think Hussein's a good guy, but I don't know with this communication thing. That's a bit of a red flag. Um, so they were asking, different questions about, how Khalil's in relationships and in communication styles. And Deanna was saying something about she don't want to like, if you don't text or call her for a while, she's okay with that. And she don't need all that. I guess because her mind is like, she busy, y'all busy, whatever. Now, I used to say stuff like that, but I wouldn't say that now. No, you need to communicate with me. And not in a clingy way, but just as, check in sometime. But I used to feel like that and say that same type of thing Deanna said, and not realizing that I was not requiring things that I truly did need, but didn't know I needed it as well. It's a long journey. Anyway, so Tay was like, I'm the opposite. Like, you need to be called and text me. So the friend was like, are you saying that because you're like more clingy and stuff? And so Tay was like, no, not even about being clingy. It's like just to communicate, like just to say, hey, how you doing? Like, who are you else are you talking to? You know what I mean? Like, she's just like, on GP, you need to be communicating. And I'm with her. So Khalil's like, he feels the same way because he'd rather someone be clingy than not be, responding at all. And so he asked Deanna, well, like, how do you show affection? And so she said she likes to do physical touch, but she also had that man to do that and show that too. And he's like, okay, you got the man. Okay, so what? So like Tay's still exploring the connection with Khalil, she said, but he's number two. But girl, you better move him on up to number one because Cisco's not giving what needs to be given. Moving on. So who else did we have? Naeem brought his friend Yusuf. I remember that name. Yusuf has 7 kids and Naeem has 5. They've been childhood friends. So Deanna and Tay were also on that date together. I was like, Tay, you still checking for Naeem? I guess. Anywho, so hold on, y'all. Oh, okay, let me hurry up. So they were saying how, it's a concern for with all his kids. That is a big concern for them. And so Deanna said she tried to date somebody with 2 kids before, it just kind of went left. And so, the friend said he is a really good father. If you saw him around kids, you would like it. Tay was asking, like, okay, why didn't things work with the mother of your children and things like that? He said the first one, he was really young. And then one of them, she was a really different from how he grew up and he was trying to change and be better for her, but he didn't know how to be better. Same thing with the last mom. And he was trying to do the work and do his healing work and stuff, but he still was hurting people, and he knows he hurt people because he hurt probably from being adopted and all that. And so, but he didn't know why, so he's just trying to, figure that out. And the main thing for the ladies is like, them kids, child. So anyway, yeah, Naeem can go home. So he might as well go on, pack it up, and say, "With Cisco." Okay. Um, then I think the last date we saw was oh, what is his name? Hussein was on a nighttime date with Rose and Rose. What is that girl's name? Angie. Oh my gosh. Rose and Angie. Child. So he had 3 friends come. Child, don't know their names. Don't care. But one of them was Lee. I remember Lee because Lee is a Polly. He likes Polly like Fritz. So I was like, don't tell me Fritz that came back. So Rose was, getting to know them, and somehow Lee asking about, how freaky I guess Rose is in the bedroom. I was like, why are you asking this, sir? Like, why? Now mind you, it's 3 4 men with Rose. So she said, she pleases her man. She's open to do things. None of her men have ever complained. Okay. They also she asked about, like, what has he done in the past that maybe hasn't been good. I guess he um loves too hard or tries too hard or falls too fast. But Rose likes that because she feels like she does that as well. And she wants someone else who would do that. I don't know, Rose. I don't know, girl. So, Angie came and she knew Lee. So everybody was looking like, girl, what? What's the tea? So Rose was like, well, how does she know Lee the Polly? How she know the Polly? And then Lee talking about he does the dominatrix stuff. I was like, didn't that one guy from Fort Worth do that too? So I was like, oh, here we go. They always gonna do this on Ready to Love, always. So um Angie says she knew Lee from bartending a few of his like dominatrix events before. Okay, girl. So Hussein was glad she cleared that up real quick because he's like, like my friends, oh no way. So, they were getting to know him. Rose left. Angie still sat there. She was like, what do I know? What else do I need to know about Hussein? They said Lee talking about he had a high sex drive, or one of the friends. I was like, y'all just keep going back to sex. Chill. Anyway, so Angie she liked that. She said that's a turn on for her. All right, girl. Anyway, we get back down to the ladies' vault. All the ladies looked great in this deliberation. All the ladies looked great. And so they talked about the dates. Kiera said that, Jay's her man, her man, her man. Now, somehow out of left field, Sahara, Sahara talking about, her and Jay are good. They're friends. They come from the same areas and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, girl, wouldn't it, when and where did this connection come from? And Kira was like, I didn't even think I had any competition, but girl, I guess. Hold on, y'all. All right, I'm back, y'all. Let me wrap this up because my sushi has arrived. So I was like, girl, where did this connection come from? Anyway, Kira was like, I didn't have no competition, but I guess, girl. All right, so nephew Tommy was like, so you have 2 connections. Even nephew Tommy wasn't mine, and he's like, so Cam and Jay. So he's like, let's talk about Cam. So she was talking about how, Cam was bringing all the girls on the dates. He'd be wasting girls' time. Angie, had some issue with the whole leading thing. And so Rose likes that he cares too much because she wants somebody that cares too much, but she's not really sure. Angie explained that her issue with leading, and she broke down and got emotional, it was because she comes from a big family. Her parents are older. I think she said she's the youngest of 11. So she's always getting calls every day about financial issues, for advice, for different things like that. Did she say she's the oldest of the? I swore she said youngest of 11, but maybe because everyone's older than her. I don't know. But I think her family just maybe puts a lot on her. What it sounds like, and so or expect a lot of her, and so she just feels like she has to deal with so much all the time, every day, and like Cam doesn't know how her everyday life is, and so Nephew Tommy's like, have you talked to him about that though? And she was like, no, she hasn't. So he was like, you have homework to do, because he would have no clue of knowing that. That's why, like, basically, like, he has no way of knowing that's why the word leading triggers her. Okay, that's why. So that's her homework assignment. They talked about Khalil. Tay said Khalil's a stand-up guy. He's in this competition for the right reasons. They talk about Naeem and all them kids. Gianna said realistically she don't see it for him with the dating him. He ends up in the bottom. And then Tay, she still says Francisco is in the running, but she is concerned about his stability. And Naeem doesn't communicate the way they would like, because Rose also said he don't be calling or texting back. And then when Rose left the date, Angie had jammed him up about not communicating, because they said that he was real dependable. She's like, well, you don't answer when I call. So I think that was pretty much it. And then so Naeem and Hussein ended up in the bottom. Now for me, it should have been Hussein and Cisco, but whatever. So Naeem, Angie told him. Now they were both happy to go on the dates, and I was like, do y'all know it's elimination date? But Hussein did get to it, like, okay, so I know y'all met with Nephew Tommy. How did that go? I like the way he asked her that. So she said, we talked about you. You're a great guy. You're this and that, but you don't really communicate. You don't call and text. And so he's talking about, it's 2024. And I understand, but I don't like when people, and like I like when people tell me what's going on in person, like what the problem is, like they have a concern with me. But I don't like when they text me. And she's like, oh, but then they didn't. I hate the way they edited this episode, because we didn't go back to that. We just went to her saying you're still ready to love, and I wanted to unpack, like, what does he mean? Because the way at first I took it as he meant like he don't like the text in general, but then when I rewatched it to do this dang review, I took it as, if you have a problem with him, he doesn't want you to text him. He would prefer a phone call. So y'all let me know how y'all took it in the comments. But yeah, I just wish they would have unpacked that a bit more. Back on the other side of town, we have Naeem on the date with Tay. And she says, we know you're a great dad. You're this and that. However, you are not ready to love. He should have been home. Okay. But if Dante can make it to the end with all them kids, then the show could not end. But hey, one season they sent somebody home first day for that. So, baby daddies are a toss-up on this show. Anyway, next week they're going on the getaway. I gave y'all a nice full review. If I missed something, please let me know in the comments, because I'm sure I did. If y'all see any love connections on this show, let me know in the comments as well. Make sure you check out my other videos, and I'll talk to y'all again soon. Good night and bye.